Good morning, everyone. I am back on the road, this time for quite a while. I drove for about 7 hours yesterday evening to get to this incredible camp spot just south of Moab, Utah. I got here just in time to watch the sunset yesterday, and now I'm waking up a little bit before sunrise. I'm going to try to get out of here. I have a full day of adventures planned. My goal is to try to check out the area around Arches National Park and then possibly even go into the national park this evening. I do want to avoid the crowds though. The last time I was here, I could barely even get into Arches, and I know it is a pretty congested and busy park, so I have some alternative plans. We'll see how they work out. It's a pretty cool way to start this hike. You walk right over a train track, and the railroad is cut through this giant rock formation. Guess it's kind of like a man-made slot canyon. It's pretty neat. This first adventure for the day is heading to a couple of arches. It is not in the national park though. I am outside of the park, I don't know if this is public land or what it is actually, but this is called the Corona Arch Trail. I do get the feeling that this is a very popular hike just based on the sheer size of the parking lot down there. It was absolutely massive. Fortunately, there were only a couple of cars. I've only seen a couple of folks. It is very early this morning though, so I kind of tried to get out here first thing, make this the first stop of the day. It does seem like it would be pretty easy to get lost out here. It's tough to follow the trail. Everything kind of looks the same. But fortunately, they do have these green paint markers all the way along the trail, so I assume if I follow those, I'll end up in the right spot. Okay, so maybe not as busy as I thought. At the moment, I actually have the whole thing to myself. There have been a couple of groups. I did meet somebody, Alex. It was great meeting you out here. We chatted for a while, and we kind of came to the conclusion that this may very well be the most underrated arch in this entire area. This thing is absolutely incredible. It's mind-blowing. What an awesome spot. I feel like I could spend all day sitting here admiring this thing just in sheer awe. And then the canyon is also beautiful, and it helps that there's no one out here right now. I've had it to myself for like 20 minutes or so, and it's just so peaceful. It's so quiet. You can hear the footsteps of people hiking up here from a mile away. Any sound that they make just carries. It's only 10 a.m. and I've already got my wish for the day. I really just wanted to have some alone time with an arch for a little while. I did not expect it to be this one. Thought it was going to be the next one, but hopefully I'll get some alone time with that one as well. That one's a little bit harder to get to, so I expect it'll be even less populated. So this hike is a little over 2.5 miles out and back, about 450 feet of elevation gain, so not super easy, but really not that difficult. I was a little out of breath going up there. That all being said, I can't think of a better way to start this road trip. So this here is a back entrance to Arches National Park. From what I can gather, there are quite a few on this side. I did have to drive quite a ways out of the way, about an hour, and then I found a dirt road, which was this past road here, and that was about 20 miles. 95% of that road was in excellent condition and it was no problem at all. 5% was a little sketchy. Would not recommend doing it without at least a little bit of ground clearance. But we made it here and there is not a soul around. Definitely takes a little bit of effort to get to this part of the park, so I'm not really expecting to see too many people the rest of the day today. But driving by the main entrance earlier, that line was crazy. I don't want to wait in line 20, 30 minutes or longer just to get in there and then go on a hike with 50, 100, 200 or more people on it. I guess I might be a little scarred because the last time I tried coming to Arches was back in 2017 in my element, and I couldn't even get into the main entrance. Like, the line was so long that they were sending people away. And then I tried going to Canyonlands and I ended up getting in but having to wait a really long time to get in there. And then I did get back to Arches in the evening and I was able to get in for a little bit, but I avoided the popular stuff because it was just too much, just too much to handle crowds like that. I think this is going to be a lot more enjoyable. It's a beautiful afternoon right now. Check out all these beautiful wildflowers out here. I was not expecting that. There's so many of them. You can actually see the main part of the national park all the way over there. But that's where all the people are, so we're going to go this way instead. So I am hiking to Covert Arch. I've also seen it spelled as Convert Arch on the internet, so it could be one or the other. Supposedly pretty magnificent though. There is not really a trail. I mean, there kind of is a trail, but it's not marked at all. And this hike is not on All Trails or any of those hiking apps. Fortunately, I do have it on my organic street maps that I use on my phone, and I've been able to mostly stick to it. I've lost it a couple of times and gotten back to it. I think we're getting pretty close. I think this is as close as I'm getting to this arch. So I believe this is the Lost Spring Canyon, and I think this area is actually called like the Lost Spring Canyon Wilderness or something like that. That is the Covert Arch there. I think you can actually hike into the canyon from a different spot and get a little bit closer to it. I was able to stand on top of it and get relatively close, but just unfortunately not underneath it. That's okay though. This is such a peaceful spot. There's not a soul around. I don't think there's anybody within a mile or 2 miles of me in every direction. I'm completely alone out here. Kind of just blown away by the concept of natural arches and natural bridges in general. It's kind of hard to like wrap your head around how some of these things even exist. So from what I can gather, there are a number of different types of arches that are formed through various forms of natural erosion. Some are formed when a river flows through them, causing the inside to collapse. Those are considered natural bridges. There's one massive one called the Rainbow Bridge, not too far away from here in southeast Utah. I've never personally seen it, but hope to see it one day. And then the largest natural bridge in the world is actually located in China. It's called the Fairy Bridge. I'm not going to bother to try to pronounce its name in Chinese, but it was only recently discovered, I think in like 2009. It's in such a remote spot of China, you can only get to it, I think, by raft. There are also arches that are formed by the coast, so you'll have seaside cliffs that eventually erode into a natural arch with help from the waves. And then there are these arches out here in Utah. These are all primarily formed through weather erosion. So basically you have a large amount of prevailing wind over an incomprehensible amount of time hitting the same area and creating these. They are generally formed from a plateau, and then you'll have like a cliff. Over time that wind continues to hit that same area, and the weaker sand blows away and it erodes away. The stronger stuff stays behind, and a lot of the time you can see the cracks in arches, and as you see those cracks, that's like where the next section is going to go, apparently, from what I can gather. I'm not a geologist, but I do find it really fascinating. I think probably the most powerful thing about arches, and maybe part of the reason why they resonate with so many people, like walking up to these things, even this morning, the one that I saw, like I was like a little bit emotional. Like it's a really incredible phenomenon that you're witnessing, and it's really unique to only certain parts of the world. I think a big reason why they do that and why people feel that way is because these things are not here forever. In terms of like a geologic time span, they don't last very long. They are all eventually going to erode away and collapse. That's part of the natural erosion process. I severely underestimated how hot it was going to be out here this afternoon. This is like the coolest day in the forecast for the next many days. It's kind of why I chose to do this today. But it's still like in the upper 80s, and I'm struggling. This second half of the hike has been rough. I'm getting very close. I can see the truck. In hindsight, probably should have brought some more water. But I'll get the AC cranking and start the long drive back. Relatively long hike. I still don't know the exact numbers on it, but probably somewhere around 5 or 6 miles out and back, and quite a bit of elevation change as well. I've been a little bit out of breath here, but like I said, not a soul around. Haven't seen a single person since I've been out here. I guess the real question is, was it worth the nearly hour-long drive down some random dirt road for 20 miles? I think the answer is probably yes. I guess it's pretty rare to do something like that alone and to have an entire canyon to yourself. So that was quite the adventure, pulling into this campsite this evening. I had to drive a couple of hours from the eastern side of Utah. I'm now in the Fish Lake National Forest. There's tons of amazing free camping in this area, and I've actually never stayed at this particular site or even on this road before, but it seems like a pretty nice spot. The views are incredible. There are a couple of folks out here. There's someone with a travel trailer just right up the way. I'm starving. I've been driving, and then on top of the drive, I actually almost ran out of gas as well. That stretch along Interstate 70 here in Utah, it's like over 100 miles with no services. And of course, they show the sign, 100 miles next service, after you've already passed all the services. So I figured I could make it, and I did make it, but it was super close. I was kind of freaking out the last couple of minutes there, but I got the gas, made it up here. Another nice thing about this spot is that it's super close to the highway, just a couple of miles, so I'll be able to get up tomorrow morning and get on my way without any issues. I am reheating some tamales for dinner tonight. Shannon and I actually made tamales from scratch this past weekend. We made a whole bunch of them and all different styles and stuff, so I'm excited to have these. I've got a bunch for the next couple of days. I also have some green enchilada sauce as well. That's one thing in New Mexico that they always ask you. You want red, green, or Christmas? And I'm a green guy. I always go for the spicy green chilies. It's absolutely my favorite. It has been a very eventful day. I guess that's one way to put it. I'm completely exhausted. I feel very lucky that I was able to explore in the national park today completely alone with nobody around. I didn't quite expect the day to go like that, especially this morning. I know I've already said that, but I think that hike that I did on the BLM land this morning was a pretty popular hike, and the fact that there were so few people out there was really, really nice. Just an incredible place. There's so much to see in this part of Utah. I really enjoyed the adventure of getting to that part of the national park as well. I haven't really done a lot of like off-roading and dirt roads like that, at least not in a while. I did almost get stuck at one point. If any of you guys were paying close attention, you might have caught that, but I was able to get out and, it was fun. This marks the end of the first day back on the road for me, and I have a lot planned for the next few weeks. I'm going to try to make as many videos as I can and share adventures like this during that time. I am on my way to Washington State. I'm going to be meeting my friends up there in Spokane, and we're going to be going to the Gorge Amphitheater to see the Dave Matthews Band Labor Day weekend. I guess by the time you guys see this video, I'll have already done that, but that's a big part of this trip. But in the meantime, while I'm on my way there and on my way back, I'm going to try to make as many videos as I can. So look forward to sharing these adventures with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy them. I can't thank y'all enough for watching and for following along on this journey. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Be sure to check out the new Element Life membership site linked below. Becoming a member grants you access to many benefits, including an interactive map of my favorite free camping and stealth camping spots from across the country, featuring footage and information about each campsite, bonus videos every month, special discounts, and much more. Thanks again for watching.